Yes, hello to you. I am not surprised at all. What I am is in awe of the resilience and the courage of Iranian women, but also men, a nation in a way at large, who still is on the streets. And now there are talks of strikes, despite the crackdowns, despite the threats, and so on. So I think it goes to show you that the government has created such a difficult environment of repression that these young people are willing to die in order to see a change in their lifetime.
How dangerous is it for women and men in Iran to protest against the regime?
Well, it is very difficult, as you see, as you heard in your own report. There are individuals being killed, being detained. There are many wounded today, and people can lose their jobs. People can get expelled from the university, and the list goes on. And yet, you see the people willing to basically sacrifice anything in order to express their grievances and also show to the regime that they are indeed tired of this government and they want fundamental change. So this is not about just women's rights and women's headscarf anymore. It is about larger grievances.
Talk to us about some of those grievances that women and Iranians in general have.
Yes, so the grievances go from anything, as you know now, the compulsory veil is in a way symbolic of how women feel restricted and discriminated against in Iran, but also, we see essentially a political legitimacy crisis in the Islamic Republic that the government is being responded to by continuous year after year, month after month, crackdowns, detentions, killings, and so on. We have a crisis of a socioeconomic crisis. The young don't have any hope for finding appropriate jobs, and so on. A rise, continuous inflation, but also a very serious climate crisis. Not long ago, we saw local protests regarding access to water, for example. So ever since 2017, I would say we have a protest movement that gets triggered depending on various things that happen in the country, and it kind of sparks larger grievances that an average Iranian has.
Do you think that the current demonstrations will change anything in Iran?
I think they already have, to be honest with you. Firstly, Iranian women have shown that when they coalesce around their grievances, they can together threaten the establishment of a very strong, in the sense of its willingness to do crackdowns and violence regime. That's a change. And any Iranian woman today feels much more empowered about their ability and their power against this regime than they did a few days ago. That's change, in my opinion. And the same goes on with the youth. You see 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 22-year-olds on the street. And this is a generation that now knows that their voice matters, that the world hears their voice, even if the Islamic Republic cracks down on it. It's a matter of time. I mean, even if these protesters go home tomorrow, the country has changed. In my opinion, these protests have made the country to a before and after, and especially with the generation on the street being so young and so willing to see change within their lifetime.
Azadeh Pourzand, human rights researcher in London, thank you very much for talking with us.